Well, we are back with another episode of the Circle of Knowledge podcast. This is amazing. I have so much fun interviewing and speaking with some of the coolest speakers I get to meet all across the world. And today is no short feeling and experience of that enjoyable feeling that I get when I get to meet new people and to connect with amazing individuals. Today, given that yesterday we celebrated and honored our veterans, I am honored to share the stage and the Circle of Knowledge podcast with a new friend, someone who I've recently met and have supported and have watched take off and do amazing things just in the short amount of time that I've known her. And before we get into the introductions and before I introduce this amazing individual, I just want to say welcome on behalf of me, myself, Jon Kovach Jr., the founder and CEO of the Champion Circle Networking Association. This is the Circle of Knowledge podcast, where we've been going live for about, 5 years now, since about 2016 when we first launched in the basement of the Fritchie's home so that we could, talk about books, talk about knowledge and get the golden nuggets out there. And as we evolved, as we grew into the Amplified Minds Network. And then as we grew even more, we acquired that business and transferred it over to the Champion Circle Network. And today I share the stage with amazing people from the Habitude Warrior Network, like Eric, Mr. Awesome Swanson. And I've been able to speak on stage and connect with the amazing Dee Wong, who actually is the reason behind why we get to connect today. And I'm really excited to introduce one of her amazing pupils, but peers, and as well as and just an honorable person who has brought light to the stage in ways that it could not be shined. And I'm excited about that. So thank you for sticking with us and joining us as long as you have. If you're new to the show, we hope that you enjoy this episode. We go live every week, and we love to share mastermind topics and knowledge on how to overcome challenges, how to take immediate action, and what you can do to overcome those challenges through the help of accountability partners and coaching and so forth. So there you go. And I am really, really excited because not only is this person a motivational speaker, they are an amazing coach and consultant, helping people overcome their challenges of PTSD and so much more. This individual served as a veteran in the United States Coast Guard from 1983 to 1987. And as you guys can imagine, being in the Coast Guard or being in the Army, and I know there's a difference, so I'll make sure that I stay in my lane and make sure I don't say anything I'm not supposed to say. But having served for our military, you wear a bunch of hats, and as a part of that role, you gain so much knowledge, information, but you also have many experiences, and with that comes a story. And I want you guys to help me welcome to the stage Miss Tracey Brown, one of the coolest authors and one of the coolest speakers I've met recently in the last few months. And today here honoring her is one of her books, Rescue to Recovery, a veteran story. I'm super excited to chat with her about that. Tracey, bringing you on camera and on screen. What's going on? I appreciate you so much. I just wanted to share that first, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. And I just love I love what you guys are doing with Champion Circle. I love the fact that you're just bringing this out there and helping people really work with, taking steps forward, moving forward in their life. And that's really what it's all about for me, as far as that's, life is concerned. It's like always moving forward. There's never loss. There's always lessons, So that's kind of my philosophy these days.
I love that. And already kicking it off with golden nuggets. I'm going to get my notebook out. I'm like totally ready for this. And, the great Les Brown used to say, these are character building days. But I'm going to replace that because I love what you just said. That phrase right there. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely incredible. And we're going to get into that because I know that you have ideas, you have strategic ways, but you also have lessons to teach people how to take those steps forward. And I can't wait for my listeners to learn more about that. And backstage in the green room, we were talking about some things that are happening. You have some really cool new accomplishments and some things coming about, which is, I can't wait for you to tell everybody and to share. But I would like to give you the microphone and just share a few things about how Tracey Brown became Tracey Brown? Like, tell us who you are, where you came from. I'd love to give you just a few minutes to just share how you came to be, and possibly share in there why you chose the path you chose.
Wow.
It's a big question, I know, but
that's a tall order. How much time do we have?
yeah, exactly, right. As much time as you want and need.
Wow.
However, I
Great.
would love to just have you tell us who you are and how you became Tracey Brown today.
Well, thanks, John. I appreciate that. Well, I've been around the block a few times. I'm older than I play. I play like I'm 12 years old, but I'm really not. Um, but that's part of that's part of what I try to teach people is the fun, finding the adventure, finding the fun, and I got there because my whole life I've been an athlete most of my life, all of my life actually, since I was a little tiny thing. And so I learned a lot of fundamental things. I learned a lot of stuff. And one of the great things that I learned from one of my coaches was that whenever, you can get fancy and you can do all the stuff you want, but if you lose your fundamentals, you're gonna crash and burn at some point in time.
Right.
So he always brought it back to fundamentals. Anytime we'd get really cocky on the field of play, I played semi-pro softball for years, and so anytime we'd get cocky out there and we'd lose, he's just like, yeah, okay, we're doing is fundamentals. You had to go to first. So fundamentals was drilled into me, and the other thing that was drilled into me as a child, my mom was an amazing influencer in my life, and she drilled into me that I could do anything if I put my mind to it. Now that became a two-edged sword after the Coast Guard, after the dealing with PTSD, because when you're strong-minded, when you've been given strong principles and strong foundations, what happens a lot is you think you can do it on your own, or you try to do it on your own because that's been drilled into you. And it's like, and I believed for many, many years, because I knew that because I did search and rescue and a lot of other things, and it really messed with I call them injuries to my soul and insults to my soul. And what happened was all those foundational things and all those amazing things that my mom put in me that I could do anything. I believed it. Those injuries, they confuse the mind and they confuse the soul and they confuse the heart, and you can't get yourself out. Brene Brown talks about, she really gets kind of pissed off because people are putting her books in self-help, and she goes, no, that's you can't help yourself. In so many instances you cannot help yourself, especially when it comes to emotional injuries, because there's a whole mechanism going on that we are not aware as lay people. And so I did some great therapy with the VA, which they taught me a lot of definitions, and they taught me a lot of things which actually helped me get back to my foundations. So the big lesson that I learned was, I as much as I would love to do this on my own, we are created as relational beings. We're here to relate. We're here to be social. We're here to be amongst each other, and we're here to help one another. And so that was a really big lesson for me, because even though I could do anything that I put my mind to, it's really a lot easier when you put your mind together with someone else's and other people. So coaching, having coaches, having people, counselors, people help you, walk you through things, because there's nothing like having a great soundboard. So those are some of the things that kind of made me who I am. And, and just jumping off of those things as far as really finding the joy in it. Another great coach that I had, my writing coach, Tam Luck, she's amazing. We've known each other for a lot of years. And one phrase that she said to me that was a huge shift for me was, find your fun. So no matter what we're doing, wherever we're at, whether it be in business, whether it be in adventures, whether it be in writing a book, whatever it is that we do, find your fun in it. Because if you're not having fun, I'm going to guarantee you're not going to be able to sustain it. If you're not having that joy, and I'm still a physiotherapist. I still work with people with physical injuries, scar tissue injuries. I still do that. And one of the things that we deal with scar tissue is the tissue gets confused and it doesn't function the way that it should. And that's the language of it. And so the interesting thing is that same thing with the emotions. When we have an emotional injury, whatever the injury is, because PTSD is not just for combat. That was another big thing that I learned. A lot of people are dealing with a PTSD simply coming out of a pandemic.
Wow.
Being in it and coming out of it. Because we're not meant to be isolated. That isolation is killing more people than almost the disease itself. So we need to really be focused on socializing and being aware and being open, but finding our fun, going back out and finding our fun. What joy, because the tool that I work with in my physiotherapy works on a frequency. It's just a frequency. It's like when the singer sings and they shatter glass, that's a frequency that shatters glass. It's a vibrational frequency. Well, I work with a machine that reorganizes scar tissue, which is where I really came from with my talk at Amazon Prime. It's you know finding our fun is huge, and scar tissue, physical and emotional, have very similar attributes. And so we need to reorganize that confusion in our heart and our soul and our minds. And so that's really what my bent is these days, is really helping people realign the scars so they can move forward and they can play big and they can be and do great things. And it starts here and it starts here, and it starts with really being with other people and allowing them in to see you and be seen.
Thank you for sharing all of that, and thank you for sharing your story and your love and your passion, and obviously you're leaking your knowledge. It is so awesome.
It does leak out.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I know that when you're full of great things, it's hard to contain them, right? You just shared that you need to put yourself in a place where you can help others, not be the person always helping and serving yourself, because it doesn't sound like we totally can on our own. I want to go back to your story, and I'd like to know, because the military, because the Coast Guard was such a huge piece to your story, what drove you to join the military? What got you into that? How did you become part of the Coast Guard, and what was that like?
It's interesting because this was 1983. And 82, I was going through the process. And what a lot of people don't understand, because history is an amazing thing, that I don't think we should lose history. And there's a lot of people that don't understand where we were as far as women in business and in life and in the military. And there were very few. I mean, it was just in the late 70s that women could actually get credit in their own name. Before that, they either had to have their father do it or their husband do it. They couldn't get a credit card. Women could not get a credit card in the 70s on their own. And a lot of people don't understand that. So here it is, early 1980s. And, I went in kind of on a whim. I was trying to convince a friend of mine not to go into the military. And so I go in, to the recruiters to get just enough information to talk her out of it. And here I am signing papers and going, okay, well, maybe I'll try this. I mean, it wasn't really all that noble, but, I was going down a not a great path in my life at that time. And it was like, this might be a good option. And I believe in divine intervention. So I believe that was just God just saying, look, kid, we're just going to take you over here and we're going to put you over here. And it might get a little messy, but trust me, it's going to work. So, that's how I look at God, that he's a very benevolent factor. And so yeah, I was trying to talk somebody out of it. And, at that point in time in 1983, there was about 7% women in the Coast Guard.
Wow.
So that wasn't very many. So you're talking, about 35,000 Coast Guardsmen at the time, and maybe, I don't know, what's 7%, 1,700 women in all of the Coast Guard. Yeah, and I end up in San Francisco, and in those days they didn't have a school for rescue swimmers. So 1983, there was you see all these, great shots of these helicopters and people jumping out. That's great, but that school didn't come into being until 1986 or 1987, when I was getting out. In 1985, they were sending anybody that wanted to be a swimmer, they were sending them to a Navy school. So 1983, we got 3 weeks of training. You got 3 weeks, where you got to learn about, how do you rescue somebody out of the water? How do you get in and out? How do you do stuff with a basket, with a helicopter? And how do you and EMT? You get some EMT training too, because once you get these people, if they're not dead, forgive me for being rude, now you got to keep them alive till you get them to shore, or get them to a helicopter. So it was rude and crude in those days.
Wow.
And people don't realize that. They think the Coast Guard's always been. And they've been around for a couple hundred years, but what people don't understand is back then too, they were under the Department of Transportation, and they had really no funding. I mean, just barely. I mean, I'm 5'2" on a good day. And, they're putting me in a men's medium wet dry suit, which I look like the Michelin man, a little duct tape on around the wrist and duct tape around and go get in the water and, try to stay warm. So, it was a very different world 40 years ago that people don't realize, 38 years ago, whatever it was.
Oh
So,
man, I can only imagine, and connecting the dots between your military career and what you're doing now. Obviously, there was some stuff or things that you got connected to, or you had a desire to solve, because it was very apparent that you, your friends, your comrades, everyone that you worked with walked away with some sort of PTSD or trauma. How did you convert from military to doing what you do now?
that's really interesting because I struggled for a long time. I
Really?
mean, I struggled when I got out, and you don't know. And I got out in 1987, and on your exit, they want to make sure that your teeth were good, and it's like, okay, you got your dental stuff done, and you did a physical. Okay, great, have a great life. And they didn't really think about what was going on up here, and it's no fault of theirs. It just wasn't in the conversation. They weren't talking about PTSD. They weren't really addressing it that much. And so I struggled for probably 10 or 15 years. I mean, nightmares, night sweats, terrors, the whole bit. And you don't want to sleep, and that's classic PTS. I mean, people don't like you don't want to go to sleep because of the nightmares, but you need to sleep because of the nightmares, and it's this vicious circle that you get into, and sleep is big. And so, for me, I really I've again, going back to being an athlete, being a healthy person. I went to the gym. I was a gym rat, and coming to learn that exercise is 8 times more effective against depression than any medication on the market to date.
Wow.
8 times more, which is, to me, it's like anybody can go out and go for a walk. It's free. It's like I don't have to have a lot of money to do this, and I didn't, because I was struggling. And so, it's one of those things. I took the road of health. I tried to take my physical health into my hands as much as I possibly could to help mitigate what was going on in the brain. So that's really what my bent became, was just, okay, how can I get the best food in me to get the chemistry going right? How can I get the best exercise, or the best that I can do to keep the brain chemistry from just putting me in a fetal position?
Hmm.
And so that's my big advocacy, is really, we have a lot of power. And it's something that I talk to my patients with, when they come in with injuries. It's like, look, you get a half an hour to 45 minutes with me, but you've got another 23 and a quarter hours with yourself. So how about we do some homework? How about you do some stuff? And when you do your stuff and we come together and we do my stuff, you're gonna have so much more power and have so much more success. And that, to me, is what a coach does for us as well. People that are helping us move along. It's like, it's no good if we're just spending FaceTime here and we're here. It's like, that's great, but what are you doing the other 23 hours?
Right.
So how can we work together and help ourselves? And that's really how my bent became, out of the turmoil and the pain of what I went through with the PTS. It's like, and the fact that, the VA, I didn't think I had benefits, because the VA kept telling me that, it's just every time I call, it's like, well, we don't see you in the system, so you don't have benefits. It's like, until like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, somebody said, no, you've got benefits, and here's the hoops that you jump through. And I'm like, crap, I missed 30 years of that. But God works funny ways, and it all works out. And I did a lot of my homework, and because I had to, because I still had to function.
Hmm.
And I was mostly an entrepreneur most of my life. I didn't I And this too was another PTS thing that I didn't understand, that I really couldn't work in certain places. I couldn't do that cubicle. I couldn't do the 9 to 5. It made me kind of bat crazy. I was just like, gotta do something else.
Yeah.
And so you figure stuff out, which is, what a great gift. We should all be a little bit more, I think, on that path of, I can do this, and let me find the places where places like, Circle of Champions, and that kind of place. I mean, there's so many places available now that we can get help, even free help for our mental health as well.
Wow. Yeah, I'm surprised with all of the resources that have been made available, especially, I mean, my closest connection is to college campuses and what
Yeah.
colleges have done to not only open up not only open up resources to those suffering with mental health, but those suffering in mental health through the various niches like
Yeah.
LGBTQ is a great one.
Mm.
There's a lot of the gender profiles. There's so many small niche groups that are offering the mental health aside from
Yes.
the mental health departments. I
Right.
mean, that's not even touching the athletics programs that are going more into not just mental health, but the fluidity of physical brain health
Yes.
and you know we've our science on concussions and brain health has grown dramatically over the last few years, and
Yeah.
it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, leaps and bounds. And that's, and a lot of the stuff that I've applied in my life was really from sports medicine. Really just in how to use, I mean, this brain, this thing is an amazing piece of engineering. If you can help with your chemistry by proper nutrition, getting the exercise, getting those things, getting sleep, this is an amazing piece of equipment that you can use to help you, rather than what I would do a lot of spiraling down, because I couldn't really catch myself in the midst of the spiral, and learning a lot of things that I learned as an athlete in sports, sports mental health, and how to become a great athlete. You can use some of those same techniques in elevating your mindset, and it's huge.
Yeah.
These things are huge.
Yeah. Wow. I thank you for that. I want to transition just a little bit. First of all, we have a few people watching live who are so
Oh,
excited about you, and I'm so excited to hear what you said about connecting. This is David. He's actually local here in Utah, an
David.
amazing human being. We met in California as well at the Secret Knock event that was in San Diego. And due to whatever circumstances, this person's profile is not showing, but you've changed their life already with what you
Oh,
said. That's pretty
awesome.
cool. They have another message here that I thought you should read. Is they're going through some close family members experiencing
Mhm.
PTSD, bipolar, and so much more, and they're able to get a few
That's so
resources.
great.
But this is fantastic. So we're already changing lives, and
That's awesome.
I wanted to ask you too, because this is such a unique thing. But I have to ask: have you
Mhm.
always been this great of a motivational or public speaker, or is this a natural talent of yours that you're just great at projecting and communicating?
That's really funny. I was just talking to somebody, what's today, Friday, on Wednesday, and they said, you're a born storyteller. And maybe it's because I'm a sailor. Sailors like to tell stories. But, I just, gifts are gifts, and all we can do is use them. And I'm very thankful that I have these passions. I'm thankful that I have that I've had the wherewithal, I've had the help, and I've had the people in your life. They move you forward.
Yeah,
Dee has been an amazing advocate for my life. Tam Luck, my business, my book writing coach, amazing. These people, they draw us out, and the thing that I did at Amazon, talking about the dis-ease of playing small. I mean, I lived with that disease for decades, decades. And partially, there's something in me that's always said, there's more out here. I just don't know how to get there. And many times it's somebody that comes along and says, "Oh, here's a door. Oh, here's a door. Oh,
yeah,
here," and that's really what it is. And that's and I believe that going through a lot of the therapy that I went through for the PTS gave me the wherewithal to walk through those doors, to actually ask and to look for the people instead of hiding away, because that's what playing small is. We hide. We don't want people to see us. And that's what Brene Brown talks about is, courage is, connection starts with courage. And that courage starts when we allow ourselves to be seen, and seeing other people. And when we start to see each other, really see who we are, man, that's where the connection happens. And that's where we go, oh, there's this huge, amazing life out there that I can actually live and step into and be a part of. And it's super exciting. That makes life an adventure, which that to me changes everything. Instead of going, oh, I got to do this, I'm like, okay, how can I make this an adventure? And then it becomes fun for me. So I've learned to really associate with words, different words, changing words, because that's what the mind responds to words.
Yeah.
No matter what we're saying, whether it's positive or negative. So our self-talk is huge. I mean, one of my big things is languaging and really working on putting everything in a positive light and doing everything I can to keep from anything negative and keep that positive language going, because that's what the brain and the soul hears.
I love this topic. And on a recent call with one of my accountability partners, they said, hey, I need to readjust my goals because I feel like I was a little too ambitious or overly ambitious. And I was like, hey, stop, cut the tape. Like, don't say that anymore. Nothing is out of your reach. You are amazing. You've got
especially
to
if you put that out there. If you're saying it, there's something in you that says it's there.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that.
That's great.
Just like you said, Tracey, is focusing on a better communication, because there's definitely something brewing inside that is causing you to say and believe what you're saying. And so that's I love that. And I did want to share it because you are a natural storyteller. You guys, one of many. She has written a really cool book, and I was honored to receive a copy of this when we first met in Dallas just a few short months ago, while Tracey was gracing the stage of Speak Up, which is a Amazon Prime Video TV show, season 4. She's one of the season 4 cast. Fourth episode, season 5. Oh, okay, season 5. All right, and
season 4, episode 5.
Oh, season 4, episode 5. There we go. And I was present in the studio when we recorded that, and she's a phenomenal speaker. She gave me a copy of her book, and I read it. And one of my favorite chapters was this one, chapter 7. It's a different kind of brain. And when I first brave, sorry, a different kind of brave. But when I read it, I realized that there was so much that I was going through in my life that I could also harness a similar type of bravery, whether it would be social connection, whether it would be business connections and so forth. It was such a remarkable chapter for me to breeze over. And I also love all the illustrations in your book, because it just brought back to the fact that we're talking about basically a lifetime filled within a few short years of serving in our Coast Guard. And I love this. This was such an amazing copy. And you guys can pick up your own copy too of Rescue.
That's on my website. Yeah.
And
also, if you want to sign one, go to the website. If you just want one, you can go to Amazon. But all those illustrations, I have to do a shameless plug. That was my
please do.
Yeah, my niece did all those drawings. Ashlyn Smith. Yeah, she's pretty amazing.
Really?
Yeah, she did all the illustrations.
That is okay. I'm so glad you said that. That's amazing. We should drop some love for her as well. I want to just bring up on the screen here just for a minute the here we go. Boom. There we go. This is part of your episode given on Speak Up TV. And this is just, I'm going to give just a few seconds here of playing this. Author. You guys probably don't hear that.
Book, Rescue to Recovery. It is my journey of over 30 years of undiagnosed post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that's today. But before that book was published in June of 2020, no one knew. No one knew that I had post-traumatic stress. My friends didn't know. My family didn't know. And I didn't even know until a friend of mine posted 16 characteristics of post-traumatic stress on social media, and I had 14 of those. I've come to learn that there are many more. In fact, 70% of the population.
Awesome. I just wanted to share a little teaser to get everyone just super excited. Go check her out on Amazon Prime Video. It's called Speak Up, Season 4, Episode 5. But to quickly transition and talk a little bit more about that, because that's where we met through Dee Dee, and then I met Dee Dee through Eric Swanson, who runs Habitude Warrior. I was on season 3 myself, but I just kept going back because I love the experience of hanging out and being with the speakers during the process of preparing for their speech. And you just got up there and rocked it. It was like, I'm a natural storyteller. I know exactly what I'm preaching, and I can help people. It just takes a phone call or a quick text or a quick email, and you're in touch with an amazing human being. So I appreciate that experience. What was it like for you to speak up?
It was, I have to say, first and foremost, that group there, the Magic production group, what a phenomenal group of human beings. I cannot say enough about them. If anybody ever gets the opportunity, go, because they treat you like just so kindly and so specially, and they just take care of you. They make the experience, because it can be a daunting experience. You're walking into a studio, a stage studio, you've got 6 cameras, and if you're not used to that, it can be intimidating. And it's interesting. That was actually probably my first public speaking engagement. I've been on stage before. I was a musician for years, so I'd been on stage before, but always kind of in the background because I was playing small. So I was always the background singer, the musician, and this is my first time standing up on stage doing that. So it was hugely nerve-wracking, but it's that nerve-wracking that I'm so excited, because I know this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm just scared to death, you know, in a good, healthy way, and I was just hoping my knees weren't showing when they were, knocking together. So I was just hoping that didn't show up on camera, but it was an amazing experience, and I highly recommend it. And the relationships, the people, meeting the people there, and Masum and Dee Dee there, meeting you, John, which was what a joy. And everybody, and meeting all the different speakers, and hearing everybody's stories, because one of the things that coming out of this whole book, and I'm realizing that every single one of us has a voice, and our voice matters. We really matter. And some people might hear my story and they might go, oh, I totally resonate, but some people won't. Some people are going to hear your story and they're going to, man, I totally connect with John. And and Steph, and all the different people that were there that day. That's the beauty of having 9 or 10 different speakers. You can go to Amazon Prime, speak up, and go bing, and in a few hours just get downloaded with some of the greatest stuff, that make you go, okay, I got this. I can do this. So uplifting, so amazing, and I can't say enough about the experience. I'm hooked.
Wow. I am too. It's an amazing group of people. I every single season I call it the class, like the class of season 3, the class of season
awesome.
4, and your season especially. What an amazing group of consultants, teachers, coaches, mentors. Absolutely amazing, and I absolutely love that experience. And shout out to Dee Dee and Masum with the Magic Productions. They're top notch. They've worked with the best. They are the best. They're fantastic. Just a few more things here, and we can start to bring this to a close. But I don't want to. I want to keep talking to you, but I know that you've got a busy life and that you've got so much to get to. You've already shared so many nuggets of knowledge, but I wanted to pin down what is one piece of knowledge or one amazing thing you'd like to share that you'd like my audience to know that they should know.
Thank you, and that's a great thing. What I would say is the challenge that I give most people, and actually everybody, somehow, some way, when I'm working with them, or even if they're working with a physical injury, the first thing, because I believe that we all have something great in us. I think we all have something in us that we want to do, and it's a need in us to do. But in order to get to that, I want them to get conscious. I want them to wake up. And my hope is that I can challenge people to really take a time to quiet the noise in their mind, quiet the noises around them, go to some place and ask yourself real seriously, what do I want? What do I want? And I think that more people plan their vacation than they do planning their life, because they whether it's fear, whether it's the unknown, whatever it is that keeps us to tapping into going, what is it that I really, really want? What is that? Because I'm going to tell you, whatever that is, It's in you to do, and you have it. You have the ability to do it. But you really got to find out. And if you don't know what you want, then what you've got to do is kind of find out what's holding me back. That's one way to look at it. What am I afraid of? What am I afraid of success? Am I afraid of failure? What is it? Am I afraid of being seen? Because I know that was for me, that was my big thing forever. It's just like, you can see all the happy clappy, you can see the clown, you can see anything and everything, but you can't see the trauma. You can't see the pain because I can't look at it. I couldn't look at it. So if I can't look at it, I certainly can't show it to somebody. So one thing that is, actively look for the things that are holding you back. That's one of the things that I teach. And the other thing is, what do I want and what am I willing to do to get it? So am I willing to go out and exercise a little bit to clear my head? Am I willing to maybe eat a little cleaner, get rid of maybe some of the processed food? Am I willing to clean out my pantry? That's a tough one because food is a big thing for a lot of people. So am I willing to eat a little cleaner? Maybe am I willing to work on, my sleep and setting boundaries so I can get more sleep or whatever it is. But what are you willing to do to get what it is that you want? Legally, ethically, and morally, of course, those things. Yeah. But what am I willing to do? Because it's very seldom. I mean, I'm sure there's times that it just kind of falls into people's laps, but very seldom does something go without work, without doing the work. And it'll be it's so much more satisfying when you really look at these things and you do the work and you go, you know what? I deserve this. I really do. And humbly, not arrogantly, but humbly, it's like, I've done the work and I'm ready to talk and I'm ready for people to see and I'm ready to be seen. And when that happens, I'm telling you, floodgates open. So be ready. When you're ready to be seen, the world is ready to see you. It's one of those weird principles that, it's when you're ready, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? So when you're ready to be seen, I'm telling you, you will be seen.
That's amazing. And with that knowledge you've just shared and the amazing golden nuggets just dropped, you also gave us a challenge, and that's to take immediate action and to focus on some of these things. And I absolutely love that, whether it's your diet, whether it's your exercise, whether it's taking care of your body, or mindfully, connecting with somebody like Tracey, who's an amazing coach who can walk you through these steps and give you that accountability and guidance to help you get through it in a very, very paced and accepted way within your environment. That's fantastic. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you sharing that. And dropping that knowledge is extremely helpful. And this is a community of achievers. They're action takers. And so I know that a lot of them will connect with you. Awesome. And I know a lot of them will hopefully reach out to inquire more, because that at this point is what we need. We need to spread that word. We need to spread that joy and make sure people get that message out further, faster, as fast as we possibly can. Right.
Yes, so absolutely. Yeah.
I have your bio up here, but how would you like people to get in contact with you? How can they reach you?
They can either reach me through my website, which is www.rescue2recovery.com. They can send an email through there through info@rescue2recovery.com. They can go to my, they can send me an email, traceybrownconsulting@gmail.com. If they want a book, they can go to Amazon. They can, if they want a signed book, they can go to my website and I can do a signed book personally to them. I guess that's the easiest way. They can go to my Facebook page, my Instagram. I've got a link tree. I could probably send you my link tree. So that gives them everything. So that's pretty cool. I can give you my link tree right now. In fact, it's Tracey Brown Consulting. Oh, it's Linktree /TB Consulting. So it's linktr.ee/TB Consulting.
So that everyone has that there. Right. It is in the.
That'll take them to YouTube and all that stuff, because I do a lot of lives that I post up on YouTube. So, and they're just, like, I literally do downloads, I'm driving either to doing errands or my mom's or whatever. And I just do a download for like 7 minutes or 8 minutes and just, okay, this is what we're talking about today. And I just throw it out there because that's what I do.
I love that. I want to plug.
Never gets wasted.
No, not at all. I personally want to plug. You guys should go to rescue2recovery.com. I've got my own signed copy here of the book, and I cherish this. I love this, and there's it's an amazing message inside, and I'm grateful for that and the friendship that was kindled over the short amount of time that we had together. And I look forward to more. I look forward to more, to learning, to being on stage, sharing from stage, but also being an audience where you're starring the stage. Because
we're doing. I got nominated for a Global Leadership. Yeah, and that's going to be in Vegas, April 6, 7, and 8. Wow. I don't know the details as far as people, the general public, but I'll find out and I'll keep you posted on that.
Please do. That's an amazing opportunity, and I'm a short drive away from Vegas, so I love it.
That's right.
I love passing through there. You said it'd be in when again? January or December?
April 6, 7, and 8. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. And
cool.
Tracey, you're so great. Thank you for being you, and for to the point of the chapter I read, A New Kind of Bravery. Thank you for being so brave to take on your own self, to focus on your health, and to take the responsibility of that power of now honing and wielding that understanding and that feeling and sharing it with others. That's honorable. And given in light of Veterans Day, we all at the least say thank you and give our gratitude for your service and what you've done for us and our country. We just honor you and value you, and want to make sure that you know that we care about our troops, and we are so grateful for what you've done and all that you continue to do and bless the stages and lives of others. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, keep all the soldiers and airmen and Coast Guards and sailors, keep them all in your prayers. They need it. Yeah,
I absolutely love that. And thank you so much for your time today. This was a long time coming. We finally got it to work out. I would love to have you back. One of the things I've loved about interviewing each of the speakers from Speak Up is that you guys and my audience knows this, that these are powerful individuals. And when we usually bring them on for the first time, we barely touch the surface. I could tell Tracey's got so much knowledge deep down within her that we just barely took a little skinny dip and we're just floundering around, because there's so much more to what you have to offer. And I know that we barely breached the surface, but there's so many more opportunities. So I'd love to invite you back, and we'll organize.
Happy to do it. Yeah.
And thank you guys. This has been an awesome episode of the Circle of Knowledge podcast. Before we sign out, you can listen to us anywhere on any podcast channel. I recommend iTunes, or what they call Apple Podcasts, Google, or Spotify. You can find us there as well. And if you like to watch the video channel, you can find us on Facebook or on YouTube. It's just under my personal YouTube channel, where you can find the entire library of our videos from the Circle of Knowledge podcast, back from when we first started to the current. And so you'll have the opportunity to do that. But I want to thank everybody, and appreciate you, Tracey. We're going to sign out with our outro. And I just want to honor and thank you again. Thank you for your service, and you're a wonderful human being.
Thanks, John. Thank you for the time.
Absolutely.